Okay, so in the past, we did some basic word problems in terms of writing things in slope-intercept form, where I gave you essentially the slope and the intercept, and we just plugged them in. Okay, these, we're going to actually have one of those, but we're going to move on to some harder word problems that are more similar to the questions that we have been doing recently, where we have some information, but we're missing that starting value. We're missing that y-intercept. Okay. So just as a reminder, we know our slope-intercept form should look like y equals mx plus b. Okay. And when we're not talking about word problems, we say that the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. Okay. But in word problem form, we don't really have slope and y-intercept anymore. So when we talk about our word problems, our m, okay, we often call it the rate of change. Okay, and essentially it's like how much the x is changing each time. So I'm going to say amount for each x. Hopefully that makes sense. Like if you're making $20 a day, okay, that would be your rate of change because it's $20 for each day. In that case would be the x. Okay, so our m is our rate of change, and our b is going to be sometimes a starting value. If we're talking about money, it could be like an initial amount. Okay, it could be just a constant amount. Like if you're talking about fees you have to pay, it would be like a one-time fee. Okay, so those are just some things that our M and our B could represent. Okay, but that really just does depend on the situation. Okay, so example one, this is still gonna be one that is pretty easy, involves no work. We have the initial fee to have a website set up using a server is $48. I'm going to highlight some stuff as we go. So initial fee, $48. It costs $44 per month to maintain the website. We want to write an equation that represents the total cost, which is y, of setting up and maintaining a website for any number of months x it is maintained. Okay, so I know my general form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, if you are one of those visual people, it is still okay to write that down first. Okay, I'm going to start with the starting value. So our starting value was that initial fee in this case, okay, which is our $48. So that is our B. And then we also have that $44 per month. When you see that per, that each, that every, that is often a good indication that that is what you're multiplying your X by. So in this case, it is 44X. And our final equation is y equals 44x plus 48. $48 to set it up, and then $44 for each month. Okay, that one wasn't so bad. Example 2, you can see it says involves a little bit of work. So in this one, our gym membership costs $33 per month after an initial membership fee. So $33 per month after an initial fee. You paid a total of $228 after 6 months. Write an equation that gives the total cost y based on the length of your gym membership in X months. Okay, so once again, I'm going to start by writing my y equals mx plus b. In this case, we know there is an initial membership fee. Okay, but it doesn't tell us what it is. So this is one where we don't know the b, and we're going to have to do something to figure it out. Okay, we do know though that the cost is $33 per month. So I know that my M is 33. Okay. And then we're like, okay, we need to figure out that B. In one of our other questions that we've done, we would have an ordered pair to plug in, okay, for our X and our Y, and we would temporarily plug them in to figure out the missing B. So essentially that's what's happening here. Just we have to figure out the words and to tell us where to put stuff. So we know Y is our total cost, and our X is the length of the gym membership in X months. So if I'm looking at that part that I highlighted in yellow, if it's $228 after 6 months, that means my ordered pair is really 6 months because X is our months. and 228 because our total cost is our Y. And now I know where I need to plug things in here. So my Y is temporarily going to be 228, and my X is temporarily going to be 6. And now I have all the information I need to figure out my missing B. So I'm going to multiply my 33 times 6, which happens to be 198. So we have 228 equals 198 plus B. And then I would get rid of my 198 by subtracting it. And I subtract it from both sides. And we can figure out that B equals 30. So I just figured out that initial membership fee. So now I have all the information I need to write my final question. So the Y, which is the total cost, is going to be $33 for each month, plus that initial membership fee of $30. Okay, and last one. You can probably guess what this one might look like. So this one involves slightly more work. So in bicycle motocross, BMX racing, racers purchase a 1-year membership to a track. They also pay an entry fee for each race at the track. So just to highlight some stuff, we know there is a 1-year membership, and then there's an entry fee for each race. But it also doesn't tell us what each of those pieces of information are. We do have one person paid a total of $125 after 5 races. And we have a second racer paid a total of $170 after 8 races. So we need to write an equation that gives the total cost, which is Y, based on the number of races, which is X. So I'm going to do this. This one's a little bit more complicated. So in terms of our X, Y, okay, it's going to be races and total cost. Okay, that's from that last sentence right there, right? An equation that gives a total cost Y based on the number of races X. Okay, and now that I wrote it like that, okay, I can take my 2 pieces of information about my 2 racers, and I can turn those into some ordered pairs. So one racer paid a total of $125 after 5 races. That's going to be 5, 125. And the second racer paid a total of $170 after 8 races. So 8, 170. And now I have my 2 ordered pairs. And from there, because I don't know the slope or the intercept, I don't know the membership fee or the entry fee per race, I can figure out my slope. So that's what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to choose to do 170 minus 125 over 8 minus 5. That would be 45 over 3, and that divides to be 15. So our M is 15 in this case, and that is the cost per race. And now I can plug things in temporarily and figure out my missing B. So I know my M is 15. We just figured that out. Our B, we don't know, so I'm keeping that as plus B. And I have 2 ordered pairs to choose from. And just like before, it does not matter which one we use. We can use the 5, 125. We can use the 8, 170. I'm going to use the 5, 125 because the numbers are a little bit smaller. So my Y that I'm plugging in is 125. My X that I'm plugging in is 5. And now I can solve for my B. So 15 times 5 is 75. And now I'm going to subtract that 75 from both sides and figure out that 50 equals B. And that's going to represent our membership fee. So final answer after all that, I know is a decent bit. We're going to have Y equals, the total cost is going to equal $15 for each race plus the $50 membership fee to the track. Those up. Okay. So once again, with these questions, you're seeing what information did they give me? Okay, did they give me that slope? Did they give me that rate of change? Did they give me a starting value? And if they didn't give you either of those pieces of information, there must be some ordered pairs hidden somewhere in there that you can plug in for your X's and your Y's, okay, and find those missing B's.